It's really annoying for me if I open up a project and Ableton crashes, but I got a few tricks how you can recover your project and also reduce the crashes in the future. If you're interested in simple and effective Psytrance tutorials, then subscribe to this channel. Ableton crashed a lot in the past for me, and I found a few tricks which help to restore your project, or at least restore parts of your project sometimes. And I want to show you a few ways today. So my current project is crashing. As you can see, there was a crash when I tried to open it the last time. So if I would now go and just like open my recent set here, this one, then it would crash and I can restart Ableton again. And it's kind of like an endless loop, so you don't have any chance to get over this. And so the first thing I usually do is I already have here in my project folders, if I go back here, I already linked in the crash reports folder because I use it so often. So it's a really good trick to put that basically in your project folder. And there you can find all the logs here. So this is kind of like the first thing you can look. And there is a file .crash log. And if you have a text editor, for example, Sublime Text is an editor which you can try for free at least, or there are various, I think, like Notepad++ or something. Then you can drag that file in. And you see here thread 0 crashed, and thread 0 is A1 trigger gate. I know that this plugin causes some crash in my projects, but it's not kind of, some plugins I had caused crash all the time. Then I either removed them or I updated them. So you cannot update all your plugins because sometimes there's no new version for it. But at least you kind of like find the plugins. That's anyways a thing. Update your plugins regularly. So if you always update them and keep them in the newest versions, then usually you have a little bit less of that crashes and bugs. So I had a time where it literally could work like 5 to 10 minutes on a track, and then it crashed and it was so annoying that I made a list of all my VSTs and I reinstalled every single one of them. But that said, this is like the first thing you can try to solve. So if you have reinstalled your VST or the one which causes the crash, then the next thing I usually do is I go here into preferences and I turn off the category of the VSTs where I know that this VST is in. So you click on the on button here, so it's off, and then you click on again and it kind of like rescans your plugin. So with the rescan I didn't have that good experience, so I did it like this. It takes some time, so I'm not gonna do it now. And then usually you can open the project again, but this time it's not possible. So if I turn it off and on again and I try to open the project, it still crashes. So what else can I do? What I can do is I can turn this off. I don't turn the VST3 off because I know the plugin is a VST2 which causes the crash. And then you can open the project which is crashing. And then you get this nice notification that all your plugins here are deactivated. And among those plugins which are deactivated is this plugin here. And then you have your project, but it's not really sounding because you're missing that plugin you now deactivated. But what you can do is several things. So one thing is that you can identify the track where it's in, because now you have the ability to look at all your settings here. And we see this one is the Spire, which is disabled, but it's a little bit tricky because Ableton kind of like shortens that. So if you can see it, I think like here in the bottom bar, the full name. But then you have to basically check through your plugins and find out where it's basically used. And then if you identify those tracks, this will help you in the last technique I show you to recover your project. But for now, we will try something a little bit more simple. We can save the live set now with the deactivated plugins. Let's put in here like there's something wrong. 23 recovery. You don't have to name it like that, but I think it helps. And then we go and activate those plugins again. As you can see, it's kind of like scanning now the plugins and doing stuff with it. And if you have a lot of plugins, this will take a serious amount of time. So what I really can recommend you also, because there are a lot of like free plugins which are just not good out there and you never use. So if you have problems with crashing Ableton, then I would also remove those plugins which you never use, because you're anyways not gonna use them, and they cause kind of like this delays in loading time, and also they may cause some of those crashes. Now we loaded all the plugins again, and we should be able to open the project again. So I will just open live set, and I will open the same live set I just saved with my VSTs now activated. And as you can see, it loads now. But I want to show you another trick basically which you can use if it doesn't open like that. Remember, we go back to the point where I showed you that you deactivated the VST2s in the preferences, then you loaded your project and the project was loading, but there was kind of like all those VSTs missing. What you then can do basically is, it's anyways a good idea to have in your current project here in Ableton kind of like a library of tracks. And then you could kind of like add a folder here, broken VSTs, and then you move basically all the tracks which have problems, which contain the plugin which is broken, into that broken VSTs. Then you remove those tracks from here. Then you save the project again as like a recovery project, as we did, and then you open it. And now it should open because the broken VST is not there. Of course, you're now like missing the broken VST, and then you can gradually move those into the project again. And you will lose maybe a track, and you can even avoid this. Basically, you can double save it. You can save the whole track as an ALS, and you can also save the rack. So for example, go in like this, and then you just remove the one plugin. Let's assume it is this compressor here, then you would remove it. Of course, not that compressor, it was A1 trigger gate. And then when you have removed it, then you also save this into the broken VSTs. And if you load it back, then you are kind of like having the rack still. Or here the same with the LS, you could just remove, you could save like two versions, like one which you call complete, and then one where you remove the broken VST and save this as a second version which says like missing VST. Then you're not kind of like losing the whole track, then you're only losing that VST here, and you can replace it maybe with another one which is not broken. And there is even like a third way how you can recover your stuff. And the third way is basically that you open a blank project, and from the blank project you can go into your projects. So in case it would be this project here, and then you can open the version you saved, and then you just drag over all the tracks here, and that way you basically can also look at which point it kind of like crashes, and then you kind of like leave the track out which you don't want to take, but that way you will lose the whole track. So I think the first option is the best because you don't really have to touch the project, it just takes time. The second option is kind of like the second option because you will lose something and it's a little bit extra effort, but you're still able to recover it. And the third option is something you can try if anything else fails. I hope that helps. I know it won't solve every kind of like crash problem, but it solved like 99% of my problems when Ableton crashes while opening. If you enjoyed this video, then you also might enjoy this video on how I organize my workflow, which I'll link up here.